If you have questions during the practice and need clarification, please know that's just part of the process, and I would want you to be able to take yourself off mute at any time that it serves you. Right, make your way into a seated position. And start by getting into your body, noticing the sensation of all the places where your body's coming into contact with the earth. And then start to create some length along your spinal column, maybe pressing into your seat, growing out of your heart in the crown of your head. And then maybe on an exhale, maintain that spinal column alignment, but let all the soft tissues drape down toward the earth. Start to lengthen out your breath. And we're going to open up with the tail end of chapter 6 of the Bhagavad Gita. And tonight, actually, it's a fairly equal mix of our protagonist, Arjuna, and his teacher and mentor, Krishna. Arjuna said, "You've taught that the essence of yoga is equanimity, Krishna. But since the mind is so restless, how can that be achieved? The mind is restless, unsteady, turbulent, wild, stubborn. Truly, it seems to me as hard to master as the wind." The Blessed Lord said, "You are right, Arjuna. The mind is restless and hard to master, but by constant practice and detachment, it can be mastered in the end." Yoga is indeed hard for those who lack self-restraint, but if you keep striving earnestly in the right way, you can reach it. Arjuna said, "Krishna, what happens to the man who, with faith but no self-control, wanders from the path of yoga before he becomes mature? Hasn't he lost both the here and the hereafter? Doesn't he, rootless and insubstantial, fade like a cloud in the sky? This is the doubt that troubles me, Krishna. I beg you, please help me, for only you can remove this doubt from my mind." The Blessed Lord said, "Neither here nor hereafter, Arjuna, is that man lost. No one who does good work will come to an evil end. Reaching the heaven of the righteous after uncountable years, that man will be born again to parents who are upright and worthy. He may even be born to parents who have practiced yoga and are wise, though a birth as fortunate as this is more difficult to obtain. There, he regains the knowledge acquired in his former life, and from that point on, Arjuna, he strives toward the ultimate goal. Unconsciously, he returns to his former practice. Even a man who asks about yoga goes beyond formal religion. Striving with constant effort, cleansing himself of all sin through many lifetimes, at last he attains the ultimate goal. The man of yoga is greater than aesthetics or the learned or those who perform the rituals. Therefore, be a man of yoga, my son. Practice yoga sincerely with single-minded devotion. Love me with perfect faith. Bring your whole self to me." And that concludes chapter 6. We'll pick up next week with chapter 7, Wisdom and Realization. So based on the anatomy of the root chakra, the anatomy I would associate, we're going to start with some pelvic floor work. So the first exercise is going to be a 2-count exercise. So this was what was traditionally known as the Kegel. This used to be thought as the gold standard for pelvic floor health. So we'll build on this later. But with the Kegel, the action is, I'll cue for an inhale, visualize the front and back of your pelvic floor, draw the front and back together. So the muscular engagement here, it feels like the same as when we're urinating and we have to stop the flow of urine. And then I'll cue you for an exhale to relax. Now, as a visualization tool, if you picture a bean in your underpants, in the center of your underpants, each inhale, visualize gently picking up that bean, and each exhale, setting the bean down. So lengthen out your spinal column again, exhale out all your air. And then on an inhale, draw the front and back of your pelvic floor together. Exhale, release your pelvic floor. Inhale, pick up the bean in the center of your underpants. Exhale, set the bean back down. Inhale, draw the front and back of your pelvic floor together. Exhale to release. Inhale, pick up your bean. Exhale, set it down. Inhale, draw the front and back of your pelvic floor together. Exhale, release your pelvic floor and then relax. And I'll cue you for instructions. So we're going to build on that. This next exercise, it'll be a 4-count exercise. Count 1, same thing. Draw the front and back of the pelvic floor together. Count 2, lift the pelvic floor up as if you could touch your sternum. I know you can't literally, but as if you could. And then I'll cue you for an inhale to release your pelvic floor. Exhale, relax. And we'll do this 5 times. Exhale out all your breath again. Inhale, draw the front and back of your pelvic floor together. Exhale, lift it up to your sternum. Inhale, release your pelvic floor. Exhale, relax. Inhale, pick up your bean. Exhale, lift it up to your sternum.
1, 2.
Inhale, release your bean back down to your underpants. Exhale, relax. Inhale, front and back, draw it together. Exhale, lift it up to your sternum. Inhale, release your pelvic floor. Exhale, relax. Inhale, pick the bean up. Exhale, this time lift the bean up into your chest cavity as if you could. Inhale, set that bean back down. Exhale, relax. And then one last time. Inhale, draw the front and back of your pelvic floor together. Exhale, lift it up to the bottom of your throat. Inhale, release your pelvic floor. Exhale, relax. Great job. If you like, start to shift into your Ujjayi breath. Take your left hand, place it under your seat. Bring your right hand to the crown of your head with your right elbow pointing forward toward the top edge of your mat. On an inhale, lengthen out along your spinal column. Exhale, draw your chin down towards your right shoulder. You guys stay right here. I'm just going to shift back to my mat. Inhale, lift the crown of your head, back up the center. Exhale, release your right arm down. Right away, tuck it under your seat. Left hand to the crown of your head. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head. Exhale, draw your chin down towards your left shoulder. All right, feel for a sense of all the places where your body's coming into contact with the earth. And feel this foundation. Feel this root. Lift your chin back up the center. And then release your left hand down to your lap. You can take both hands, find either foot, and start to give your foot a little bit of a massage or a rub. So this might be sliding the thumbs down the plantar and then working through, or there's a massage technique I read about called peeling, where you pull with the thumbs. Experiment with that, see what feels good. And just give your feet some love. We use our feet all day, every day, and most of the time we do so little to care for them. And this kind of a treat, a foot massage, is the sort of thing most of us wish our partners would do more often. We kind of forget this is something that we can do for ourselves, not anytime we want, but often. It's also very grounding. Right? It's nice for us to find this connection with our bodies, and through our bodies, the connection with the earth. Start to switch feet. Change the cross of your legs. And give this other foot some love. So the lower three chakras, root, sacral, and solar plexus, are linked to our physicality. So the lower three chakras connect us with the earth. But that's even more true with the root chakra, Muladhara. So this is our connection to our body. So from an anatomical standpoint, when I think about root chakra and anatomy, I think about the pelvic floor, the base of the spine, but also the legs, the ankles, and the feet. Okay, you can release that foot too, and then roll over your crossed ankles, make your way into a tabletop shape. Float your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. Start right away. Check your index fingers, visually check. I'd like you to have them pointed at 12 o'clock. Start grounding down into your index, knuckle, and thumb. And then start lifting your gaze forward, maybe gaze 5 or 6 feet in front of your mat. Inhale right here. And then as you exhale, tuck your chin in towards your chest. Start dropping your seat down towards your heels. As you inhale, leave your chin tucked to your chest. Come back up into tabletop. And then at the very top of the movement, start to lift your chin forward, gaze 5 or 6 feet in front of your mat. Exhale, chin to your chest, seat to your heels. Inhale, rise with your chin tucked in toward your chest. In the last 25% of the movement, start to lift the chin forward. Flow through this about 4 more times to the cadence of your own breath. I feel that your knees, the tops of your feet, maybe your shins root into the earth, as well as the index, knuckle, and thumb. In nature, when faced with adversity, trees have 2 broad strategies. And the strategy they take really depends on the nature of the challenge. So if the challenge is a lack of nourishment, and I'm thinking here primarily of water, trees will tend to grow a really tall stature and sink a root really deep, a tap root that reaches for the aquifer. But if the challenge is shallow soils and high winds, instead trees will grow a really short stature and they'll spread a root system out really, really wide. Your next iteration, pause at the top of this movement. We're going to do some rhomboid push-ups. So leave the arm straight, root down again into your index, knuckle, and thumb. Make the back of your head buoyant, roughly in line with the back of your heart. On an inhale breath, drop your heart down toward the earth. Feel the space between your shoulder blades close together. Exhale, puff the space between your shoulder blades skyward. Maybe release your chin to your chest. Inhale, drop your chest down toward the earth. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, one more time, drop your chest down toward the earth. Space between your shoulder blades is closes completely up maybe. Exhale, round through your shoulders. And then come back into a neutral spine position. Grab 1 or 2 blocks. Start walking your hands back towards your knees. Bring your knees more or less together. Maybe a little space there is fine. And set 2 blocks under your seat, both at the lowest height. Sit onto the blocks. Right, so what we're trying to get into here is the ankles. Right, so you may have all the sensation you could possibly want right now. For now, head floats over shoulders, over hips, to allow the forces of gravity to press the weight of our body downward. Now, if you have more space, lift up, remove 1 block, sit back on a single block. And then check in. How is this for you? Do you have more space, or do you have everything you need right here? And if the answer is a little bit more space, reach back, lift up, remove the block, let your seat drop down toward the earth. Now, this may be fine right here. You're already doing it. You don't have to change anything. But if your seat's coming down close to the earth, you can bring your hands under your shoulders, fingers pointed forward, start lowering your torso back behind you, and then maybe even lift the knees up off the earth. Now know that if you choose to lift the knees at all here, it may be a lot of sensation in the ankles, and it may be more than your body is signed on for. So if you lift them, you might not choose to keep them lifted for very long. That's okay. So I'd like you to check in with your body, the organism of your body, and ask your body what it needs for tonight. And if it needs nourishment more, all the places where your body contacts the earth through the practice, visualize a taproot reaching deep down into the earth for the aquifer. But if what your body, the organism of your body needs is stability and support, visualize your root system growing out wide, nice and wide, maybe intertwining with all the other root systems of everyone we're practicing with tonight. All right, if you've lifted your knees, lower your knees, start lifting up, float your head over your shoulders, over hips, come back into tabletop. And then on an inhale, tuck your toes under your feet. Exhale, find a downward facing dog. Root into your index, knuckle, and thumb again. Start making the movements in your lower body that warm your body, but also feel the grounding in the toes and the balls of your feet. And feel tendrils of roots begin to start and grow down from the index, knuckle, and thumb in the toes and the balls of the feet. Right, stillness in your lower body. Flatten your palms out on the mat. Re-engage with your index, knuckle, and thumb. Relax. Can you create more space and length between your wrists and your hips? And then again between your hips and your ankles. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, take as many steps as you need. Come up to the top edge of your mat, Uttanasana, Ragdoll, feet hip distance apart. Whole belly resting on your thighs. As much as you need to get the belly on the thighs. Option to place your hands on blocks, especially if the low back is tweaky. Shift the weight into the balls of your feet. So the heels aren't floating, but it's like the weight is front loaded. So visualize 75% of your weight in the balls of your feet, 30% in the heels. Feel for those tendrils of roots growing from the balls of your feet and starting to thicken and widen out into the earth below you. Heel toe your feet together. Shift the weight into the heels. The roots start to grow from the heels now. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press into your feet. Circle your arms up over your head. Exhale, slice your hands down to heart center. Bring a soft gaze to the tips of your fingers, set an intention for your practice for tonight. If you like, you can join me in mine. My intention is I have a right to be. But if that doesn't resonate for you, no worries, friends. Set that aside. Choose one that does. Inhale, sweep your arms up over your head. Exhale, hinge into a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. Ground down into the index knuckle and thumb of both hands. Make the back of your head buoyant. Press your heels toward the back edge of your mat. Feel the tendrils of roots growing from the balls of your feet and reaching even deeper or even wider into the earth. Draw your belly button towards your spine, core is engaged. And puff the space between your shoulder blades any amount higher up toward the stars. If you look forward in each pose, we're connected to the earth with one part of the body, reaching for the heavens in the other part. You can find those two elements in every pose. Inhale right here. Exhale, release your knees down to the earth. Bring your gaze rather to your hands in your arms. And as you lower down, keep them shoulder width apart. And then inhale into an easy cobra. Keep your hands under your shoulders. Pull with your hands. Peel your heart up off the earth. Press the shoelace parts of your feet into the earth. Feel the tendrils of roots growing again from your index, knuckle, and thumb. Heels of your hands in the tops of your feet. And then exhale into downward facing dog. On an inhale, bend your knees. Look forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top edge of your mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Inhale in your high plank. Exhale, knees up or down, come down to your belly. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Inhale in your high plank, and then on an exhale, one last time, lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, draw in a life-affirming breath. And then open your mouth, side out with a ha sound. Bend your knees, look forward, and then walk, step, or float to the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Now, if your back is tweaky, leave a long, straight spine, hands on your thighs. If your back feels pretty strong and secure tonight, bring your hands in front of your collarbones. I'd like you to visualize a towel wrapped around your neck. Hands on the handles of the towel. So pull down with the towel on the towel with the hands. Press the back of your neck into the towel. And then only if the lower back feels stable and secure, start to press your belly button away from your sternum. It's sort of the opposite cue that I would typically think of here. And if you do this, I think what you'll find, the lower back really lighting up. Shift more weight into your heels, light in the balls of the feet, roots growing fairly rapidly down into the earth now. And then maybe lower your seat another 2 inches. Push the belly button away from the sternum again. Exhale, forward fold. That's called Uber Utkatasana. That's how I'll cue it next time. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. Inhale, rock forward on your toes. Back of the head is buoyant. Exhale, knees up or down. Chaturanga, low plank. Come halfway down. Inhale, any heart opener of your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift your right heel up toward the stars. Exhale, step it forward, rise into warrior one. Right toes at 12 o'clock. Left toes 8 to 10. Start right away, build the foundation. The root system's growing from the earth, growing from all 4 corners of your right foot, the pinky edge, blade, and heel of your left foot. I'm gonna give you another option in a moment, but any arm variation to start. And then maybe goalpost the arms out to the side. I promise you guys some thoracic spine work. Inhale, lift your gaze, draw your shoulder blades together, open your heart. Exhale, bring your hands, wrists, forearms, and elbows together. Release your chin to your chest, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Spread the feet apart again. Press into the feet in opposite directions. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. And then as you exhale, release your hands down to the earth. Step back into high plank and then chart your own course to downward facing dog. Pressing directly back, flowing through vinyasa, moving through child's pose, taking a drink of water. You are the captain of the ship. Inhale, lift your left heel up toward the stars. Exhale, warrior one. Rise on your inhale. 5 breaths. Engage the legs first. Root system is growing really quickly now. Maybe goalpost the arms out to the side. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. And then on an inhale, come back into goalpost arms. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth, high plank, and then chart your course to downward facing dog. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, move to the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Utkatasana or Uber Utkatasana. If you take an Uber Utkatasana, once again, press the back of your neck into that imaginary towel. Press your belly button away from your sternum. And then everybody, more weight in the heels, even lighter in the balls of your feet. Legs maybe really talking to you at this point. Super normal, super normal. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Good job. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Inhale and high plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right heel up toward the stars. Exhale, reach it forward, warrior one. One breath to rise on your inhale, rooting into the feet right away. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth, high plank, and then chart your own course to down dog. Inhale, lift your left heel skyward. Exhale, warrior one. Stabilize as you rise. Exhale as you release your hands down to the earth, high plank, and then chart a course to down dog. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, move to the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, slice your hands down through heart center and down by your waist, palms face forward. Shift the weight into your heels. Bring your chin so it's level with the earth. And with the weight in the heels, weight of the body will keep the legs from moving. Slide your heels apart as if you were trying to slide them toward the outside edges of your mat. And then slide your thighs apart like you were trying to touch the outside edges of your mat. And then slide your sits bones apart toward the outside edges of your mat. So very engaged mountain pose. Samasthiti. Ground down into all four corners of your left foot. Lift your right leg. Maybe put a bend in that knee. Catch that knee with your right hand. Or maybe wrap your peace fingers around your big toe and press the sole of your right foot forward past the top edge of your mat. Find your drishti. Soften the muscles around your eyes. Soften the quality of your gaze. And stay right here. Or start to open the right hip out to the side. So find a dorsiflexion action of that right foot. Flex all 5 toes on your right foot back towards your right knee. And press firmly down into your left foot, maybe visualizing growing out of the crown of your head by another inch. And notice how quickly your root system is now expanding. Shift that right knee back down, back into center. Lower it down to the earth. Invitation, if you like, shake your legs out. And then come back to standing, Samasthiti. Ground down into all 4 corners of your right foot. Standing leg raise with your left leg lifted. Bent knee or straight leg. Find some place in your body where you're holding on and clenching, and then choose to release. Softening over and over again. When you notice the unnecessary muscular engagement, choosing to soften over and over. Now stay right here, or open that left hip out to the side. And I didn't cue this on the other side, but if the balance is coming really easily tonight, you could even start to shift the gaze out over the fingers of your right hand. Or if that's really easy, close your eyes. Draw that left knee back into center. Lower it down to the earth. Maybe shake your legs out again. And then on an inhale, sweep your arms up over your head. Exhale, hinge into a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. And then tap your knees down to the earth. Side saddle your legs off to the side. Come onto your back. And I'd like you to have a block within reach. We're not going to use it right away, but we'll use it fairly soon. Put a generous bend in the knees. Place the soles of your feet on the mat. And your heels close enough to your seat that you can brush them. So we're going into bridging. We're going to start with 2 pelvic tilts. And then we'll build on that. On an inhale, draw your belly button towards your sternum. Feel your whole lower back press down into the earth. Exhale, relax your pelvis. Inhale your belly button towards your sternum. Exhale, relax your pelvis. Inhale, draw your belly button to your sternum. Feel your lower back press firmly into the earth. And then as you exhale, press into your feet. Lift your thighs, lift your hips. Shift the weight into your heels. Feel the roots and tendrils growing from your heels, growing from the back of your head, your shoulder blades, maybe the backs of your arms. With the weight in your heels, press your knees forward toward the top edge of your mat. And spike those heels down into the earth even more. As you press more down, your roots start to grow faster, larger, wider, deeper. And then slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time, come all the way down. And stay for 1 full and complete breath with your whole spinal column on the arc. On an inhale, draw your belly button to your sternum. Exhale, press into your feet. Lift your thighs, lift your hips. Invitation to walk your shoulder blades under your back, maybe even interlace your hands under your body. If you do that, press your knuckles toward your heels. Press the heels of your hands together. If the back of your neck is crunching here, just pick up the back of your head, walk the crown of your head away from your torso a little bit more, and then set it down. And then press your chest back toward your chin by 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch. Maybe really feeling the legs, maybe really feeling the glutes here. And then deliberately, with control, lower all the way down. One full breath. Reach your arms up over your head, interlace your thumbs. And on an inhale, draw your belly button towards your sternum. Exhale, press into your feet, especially the heels. Lift your thighs, lift your hips. Now you can take this as a conventional bridge at any height. As long as the glutes are engaged, I don't actually care how high up you come. Or you can join me in some hip drops. For hip drops, put a little bit of slack in your bridge. And I'm going to count to 3. When I reach 3, vigorously press your hips up to full extension. 1, 2, 3. Lift. And stay right here or put a little slack in your hips. 1, 2, 3. Lift. And once again, stay right here or put some slack in your hips. 1, 2, 3. Lift. Lift your thighs and hips as high as you can. Press your heels even more firmly down into the earth. And breathe. And then one vertebrae at a time, start to lower all the way down. Find Supta Baddha Konasana, reclining bound angle pose, with the soles of your feet together, pinky edge blades of your feet resting on the earth. And unless you have a compelling reason not to, I would encourage you to consider placing blocks under your thighs or your knees. You can have the backs of your hands on the earth if that additional grounding and rooting feels good. Or maybe one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Maybe both hands on your heart. So we're going to move into some core work. Now, I'm fairly obsessed with a combination of core work and pelvic floor work. So I think you guys have all done this with me before, but take your hands to the outside of your thighs, lift your knees back up the center until the soles of your feet rest on the earth. Take your block at the medium width. And then at the medium width, place the block in between your knees. Hands lightly in your thighs for now. So we're going to go back to the cueing that we started with in our practice tonight. On an inhale, draw the front and back of your pelvic floor together. Exhale, drag the pelvic floor up the spine to the sternum. And then bring your shins parallel to the earth, dorsiflexion of both feet. Press your thighs into your hands. Press your hands into your thighs. Squeeze the pudding out of that block. Let that block really have it. Right? If your lower back is lifted, press your lower back down into your mat. Continue to breathe. Press your thighs into your hands even more. Squeeze the block more. And then lower your feet down to the earth. Release your pelvic floor. Good job. One full and complete round of breath. Inhale, draw the front and back of your pelvic floor together. Exhale, lift it up to your sternum. Shins parallel to the earth. Press your thighs into your hands. Press your hands into your thighs. Squeeze the pudding out of that block. And breathe. Squeeze the block even more. Good job. Lower your feet down. Relax your pelvic floor. One breath. Inhale, draw the front and back of your pelvic floor together. Exhale, lift it up to your sternum. One last time, shins parallel to the earth. Press your hands into your thighs. Squeeze the pudding out of that block. And we'll hold right here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Lower your feet down to the earth. Relax your pelvic floor. Right away, remove your block and then change it to its most narrow width. And at the most narrow width, sandwich the block in between your knees. You can do anything you like with your hands there. You don't need them where we're going. On an inhale, draw the front and back of your pelvic floor together. Exhale, lift it up to your sternum. Starting from here, squeeze the pudding out of that block. Hover your feet up off the earth any amount. Press the pinky edge blades of your feet out past the sides and the edges of your mat. They may not literally come out to the edges of your mat. That's okay. Push, pull, continue pressing the blade edges of your feet out. Really let that block have it. And lower your feet down to the earth. Relax your pelvic floor. Good job. One breath. Inhale, draw the front and back of your pelvic floor together. Exhale, lift it up to your sternum. Squeeze your block. Hover your feet. Press the blade edges of your feet toward the outside edges of your mat. And continue to breathe. Just like with the last thing that we did, if you notice the low back lifted, see if you can press it back down into the earth. And then really focus on giving that block the what for. Squeeze the pudding out of it. Lower your feet down to the earth. Good job. We got one more of these for a count of 10. Put a full round of breath first. Inhale, draw the front and back of your pelvic floor together. Exhale, lift it up to your sternum. Hover your feet up off the earth. Squeeze the block. Press the blade edges of your feet out, and we'll hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job. Lower your feet. Relax your pelvic floor. Any counter pose, maybe a full body stretch. Maybe your knees in toward your chest. And then lengthen your legs out long. Maybe reach your arms over your head. Roll over and come onto your belly. Find a half frog. Goal post your arms out to the side. Bring your elbows in line with your shoulders, fingers reaching up past the top or maybe the bottom edge of your mat. And then lift your right knee up in the general direction of your right elbow. Shift your gaze to the right. Feel for all the places where your roots are now growing down into the earth. From all across the front plane of your body, the tendrils growing together and reaching down or out wide. And feel for the pull of the earth, drawing your right hip down toward the earth. Slice your right heel back of your left knee, and then imagine that it's glued there. It cannot move, but the whole rest of the right leg is free. Bring your chin to neutral and start to engage muscles as if you could lift the right leg up off the ground. It may not physically lift at all. That's okay. I don't care about that. I care about the muscular engagement as if you could lift it. Continue to breathe. And if this is hard for you, it's not because you're doing it wrong. It's just a big S. This is hard. And you got this. Lower your right knee down to the earth. Stay here for one complete round of breath. Inhale, lift your right knee any amount up off the earth, even if it doesn't lift at all again. Notice where your most provocative point of sensation is. Right, maybe right in the center of the butt cheek. Lift the right knee any amount more, or engage the muscles any amount more. And then lower it down to the earth. Woo, good job. You can release your right heel, come back to half frog just for a breath, and then release your right leg back down in line with your left. Shift your gaze over to your left. Lift your left elbow up in the general direction, or your left knee up in the general direction of your left elbow. Slice that left heel back, rest it on the back of your right knee. Just like the other side, that left heel now is glued to the back of the right knee, but the left leg is free. So I'd like you to draw your belly button to your spine first, and then lift your left knee up any amount, or not at all, just engaging the muscles as if you could. And breathing the whole time. Lower your left knee back down. One full round of breath. And then lift your left knee up toward the stars. Continue to breathe. Your core, draw your belly button to your spine. Lower your left knee down. Release your left heel from the back of your right knee. And then lower that left knee down back in line with your right. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Press up and back into tabletop. And then once again, side set of your legs off to the side, come onto your back. Thread the needle. Put a generous bend in your left knee, sole your left foot on the earth. Hook the pinky edge blade of your right foot on the outside of your left thigh. And maybe starting here, just with the heel of that right hand, tractioning that right knee forward. That might be plenty, that might be fine. If your body wants more, look between your legs, thread your right hand into that little triangle shape. Interlace your hands on the back of your left thigh. Find dorsiflexion of both feet. Press your right knee forward toward the top edge of your mat. Draw your left knee in toward your chin. Press the right knee forward to the top edge of your mat even more. Now release the sole of your left foot down to the mat. We're going to take Nautilus pose. Eagle legs, wrap your right knee over your left. Walk your hips off to the right. Lift your right knee up as if you were touching yourself on the chin. And then bring your left hand to your right shin, just below the knee. Guide your right knee down toward your left shoulder. Release your right shin, lower the sole of your left foot down to the earth. Drop both of your knees over to your left. And if you want even more sensation in this twist, either shift your gaze out over the fingers of your right hand, that'll add a little, or straighten that right leg. Let gravity draw the big toe edge blade of your right foot closer down toward the earth, any amount. You straighten that right leg, put a bend back in the knee, lift your hips back up to center, set up for your thread the needle on the other side. Hook the pinky edge blade of your left foot on the outside of your right thigh, just above the knee. In either version, from the supine figure 4, or thread your left hand in between your legs. Find this push-pull movement here as well. Bring your feet to life as well. Flex all 10 toes. Good, you guys. And you can release that right leg, lower the sole of your right foot down to the earth. Wrap your left knee over your right. Shift the hips over to the left. Lift your left knee up first. And then right hand to your left shin, just below the knee. Draw your left knee down towards your right shoulder. That stabilizing exercise of the piriformis we did from half frog. This is kind of the counter to that, to try to loosen that back up. Right. You can release your nautilus pose, then drop both knees off to the right. Maybe straighten that left leg. Maybe shift your gaze out over the fingers of your left hand. Bring your knees back up into center. And there, from there, friends, find any version of a happy baby. So I'm going to choose to do this with a block under my lower back. But with or without a block, bring your hands to your shins, your ankles, wrap your peace fingers around your big toes, hook the pinky edge blades of your feet with the hands. And regardless, use the muscular engagement of the arms, drawing the knees down toward the earth with the soles of the feet parallel to the ceiling to open the hips, maybe rocking from side to side. Lower your feet down to the earth. Make your way into any final resting shape, your seat, your belly, your back, or your side. Tonight in your final resting shape, whatever you choose, I have no preference, but I'd like you to look for 3 qualities. One is feeling grounded and connected with the earth. The other 2 are a combination of relaxation and alertness. Relax the thumb on your left hand and your index finger, middle finger, ring finger. Relax the pinky finger of your left hand, then relax your left wrist, your left elbow, Your left shoulder relaxes so much that it could melt down into your mat. Relax your right thumb. Index finger. Middle finger. Ring finger. Relax the pinky finger of your right hand, then your right wrist, your right elbow. Your right shoulder melts down into your mat. Relax the big toe in your left foot. And your second toe. Middle toe. Fourth toe. Relax the pinky toe of your left foot, then your left ankle, your left knee. Your left hip melts down into your mat. Relax the big toe of your right foot and second toe, middle toe, fourth toe. Relax the pinky toe of your right foot and your right ankle, your right knee. Your right hip melts down and settles into place precisely next to your left. Visualize a wave of relaxation that starts at the base of your pelvic floor and goes all the way up to your sternum. Then relax your chest. Let your whole mouth relax, your upper lip, your lower lip, your jaw, your tongue, all relax. And the same with your eyes. Relax your eyeballs. Relax your eyelids. And imagine what it would feel like if you could relax even the sockets of your eyes a little bit more. Relax your forehead. Let any wrinkles, strain, or concern ease out of your forehead. And then relax even in the crown of your head. Imagine that your whole body is so relaxed that you can melt down through your mat, melt down through the floor of your home, and come to rest upon the earth that supports us all. Only if your body's ready for movement, begin to draw some deeper breaths. And if more movement might feel good, maybe start small, but begin to reanimate your body with small movements, wiggling your fingers or your toes, maybe rotating your chin from shoulder to shoulder. And then if it would serve you, you could go larger. Rotate your hands at the wrists, your feet at the ankles, or maybe take a full body stretch. If you're closing out the practice in your final resting shape, don't change a thing. You're already home. Otherwise, roll over into a fetal position. Find your child's sleeping pose. And from there, right away, look for grounding. Look for the sense of connection with your root system growing into the earth. And maybe start to ask yourself if what you needed was more nourishment or what you needed was more grounding and support, stability. Did you find some of that through the work that you did for yourself for tonight? And then press yourself up into a seated position. Could be hero's pose, could be with legs crossed. And we're going to close with a final grounding exercise. So I'd like you to take the index finger and thumb of both hands, almost like you were going to make shadow puppets for a child. But bring the tips of the index finger and thumb to the center of the brow line. Start here, tweeze and massage, working your way out from the center toward the temple to the edge of the brow line. And then once you've reached the edge, you can release there, bring your thumbs, place them on the center of the top of the eye sockets. Now apply gentle pressure of your thumbs up toward the stars and a gentle pressure of your chin down toward the earth. And then lift your chin, release your thumbs, take the index fingers of both hands, place them in the center and bottom of the eye sockets. Apply gentle pressure of the tips of the fingers down toward the earth and a gentle pressure of lifting the chin up toward the stars. Bring your chin back to neutral, release your hands, flatten your palms out, and then place the heels of your hands on the bottom of your eye sockets. And then fold the whole hand over the eyes. Start to tweeze your elbows together, and I'd like you to keep your shoulders floating over your hips, but release your forehead forward into your hands. So you have this triangular shape created between the forearms, the biceps and triceps, lots of support for the forehead and for your neck. And lift your chin back up to center. Slice your hands down into heart center. Thank you, sisters and brother, for the opportunity to move and breathe with you tonight. Whether you needed stability and support or whether you need nourishment, I hope you found it in our time together tonight. If you like, draw your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows, your Ajna chakra. Blessings to you and your family. And that concludes our practice for tonight. Great job, friends.